Good day, everyone! How are you today? So that's great! Today, I will be your English teacher. I am Ma'am Jamaica Necesito, but you can call me Ma'am Jam or Ma'am Jamaica. I will be guiding you today on how to pronounce properly the words. Here are the objectives of our lesson. Before we begin our discussion, let us have a brief game about the pronunciation of different words. The title of our game is Guesstimation. Here are the instructions on how to play the game. Number 1 is listen carefully. I will provide you with the pronunciation of the word and think and guess based on the sound you hear. Try to guess the words. So, are we clear, class? That's great. So let's get started. Here. To. Right. No. Our. 8. We will talk about vowel sounds today. Even though there are only 5 vowels, the IPA shows us different ways to pronounce them, both short and long. I'll introduce you to the vowel triangle, which might be new to many of you. In this illustration, you might have the idea of confusion. However, upon learning this phonetic vowel, you will be guided on what word is it and how it is pronounced properly. In this illustration, you can see that there are letters corresponding their sounds. In the vertical part of this, there are high, mid, and low, together with horizontal line, front, central, and back. Supposedly, there are only 5 vowel sounds, right? However, in phonetic alphabet, there are lots of different sounds. For long E, pronounced as bit, bit. For short E, pronounced as bit, bit. For long E, pronounced as bait, bait. For long pronounced as bat or cat. The opposite of pronounced as schwa sound like bat or cat. This symbol pronounced as a sound, also called as stress, schwa pronounced as bat. O as in long, u pronounced as but, you, tu. O or the closed O pronounced as o as in boat, coat. The opposite of sifo pronounced as open O as in bore, bought, book, and put. The last is the short A as in bamba, almond, black, hat, and so on. High front and rounded E in beat, think of the sound as in C. High back rounded U in boot, think of the sound as in who. Mid front and rounded E in bat, think of the sound as in pet. Mid back rounded O in boat, think of the sound as in go. Low front and rounded E in bat, think of the sound as in cat. Low back and rounded A in father, think of a sound as in caught. The chart clarifies American English vowels based on tongue position, height, and front back, and lip rounding. Vowels are plotted according to their tongue position and lip shape. For example, E in beat is high and front, while U in boot is high and back and rounded. Stands for International Phonetic Alphabet. The International Phonetic Alphabet is a standardized system of representing spoken sounds. It is used by linguists, phoneticians, and speech-language pathologists to accurately describe and analyze the sounds of various languages. It is significant to study this IPA because it helps to accurately provide specific and correct sounds. It is significant to understand this because it helps you to understand the word properly expressed. The IPA is a special alphabet for sounds. It helps us understand how words are pronounced, especially in language with tricky spelling. These are the vowels used in English pronunciation. Now I will pronounce the vowel sounds and say it with me. There are different pronunciations in the above part of the vowel triangle. There are parts where the tongue properly positions, front, central, and back. In the bottom part, there are parts of the tongue that should have a position, the close mid, and open. Now say it with me. Here are the example words, like in sound, like cat, bed, sad, sand, land, and hand. Among all English vowels, the greatest problem for most learners poses This is how we can transcribe these words. Short A, like bra, calm, palm, bother, start, dark. This vowel is the closest one to the sound of the letter A in many other languages, and as such is also denoted as an a in some dictionaries. This is how we transcribe these words. A or sound, bat, cat, gun, come, some, globe. This vowel is very similar to a, but it's never pronounced long in English. It is always represented by u in a stressed closed syllable or by an o, but both can be pronounced also in a different way. This is how we transcribe these words. Short a, get, bed, set, sell, bell, man. This vowel is the closest one to the sound of the letter e in most other languages and is sometimes denoted by e in dictionaries. For example, in the one I am linking to. For short e, like pit, bin, field, wheel, village, and bullet. In writing, this sound is most commonly represented by I in a closed stressed syllable. This is how we transcribe these words. For long e, as in he, she, see, keep, family, hyperbole, and this is just a softer e. It is mostly represented by e, but quite often also as e, single e. Finally, e and others. This is how we transcribe these. The o sound, like as in saw, straw, dawn, fall, call, and woe. It is usually represented by ow, I, or ow. This is how we transcribe these words. For short u, as in put, full, good, would, could, and would, the sound was similar to the sound of u in many other languages. This is how we pronounce these words. Next is the long u, as in you, who, chew, shoe, cool, and tool. Would sound strange if it is very long. So when there is a long u sound in English, it is pronounced somewhat darker than u. Those is how we transcribe these words. For the schwa sound, a syllable moment terrible, as in felony or papyrus. Most learners of English learn very fast how to pronounce a when it means an indefinite article, and this is exactly the pronunciation of a. The long as in Mr., standard, editor, in American English only. This vowel is formed by saying a and at the same time putting your tongue to the position as if you were saying the English This is how we transcribe these words. Take a look at this image and try to pronounce it with me. Alright, very good class. Now let us have a very short and simple discussion about how to pronounce consonant sounds. Here are the words that are represented in the image. Now say it with me. Pet, pet, bat, bat, mat, mat, pat, pat, bat, bat, wit, tit, dot, tot, dot, dot, nut, nut, sit, 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 rat, rat, and hat. Seems that you already know how to transcribe these words. Let us have an activity. Mississippi, a major river in the United States that flows from Minnesota to the Gulf of Mexico. Chauffeur, a person employed to drive a private automobile. Allegory, a story in which the character and events represent abstract ideas or principles. Antithesis, a contrast or opposition between ideas, concepts, or things. Island refers to a piece of land completely surrounded by the water. Denouement, the resolution of the story. Serendipity, the occurrence of finding something good without looking for it. Rendezvous, a meeting place or time. Bouquet, a bunch of flowers tied together. Cafe, cafe, a coffee house. Again, Mississippi, chauffeur, allegory, antithesis, island, denouement, serendipity, rendezvous, bouquet, and cafe. Are you all done transcribing those words, class? Here are the answers. So, let me ask you a question, class. What have you noticed in the lesson and activity? Does it make you confused, amazed, or surprised? Here is the key takeaway that you must be remember when it comes on transcribing words. Hear the words, not hear. Keep it right, not right. Know the pronunciation, not know. So pronounce it correctly with your tongue and lips. So, that's all for today. Very good, class. Give yourself a round of applause.